Hi, everyone. It's Sean, and we're back to discuss another story. This week, we're going to focus on Donald Barthelme's, and I hope I pronounced his name right, The Balloon. Have you gotten a chance to read it yet? It's posted up on the site. If you did read it, what did you think of it? It's a very strange story, isn't it? All it is pretty much the author talking about how people in a city react to, well, a balloon. And they kind of have all kinds of strange reactions to it. They really do. They don't know what to make of this very strange balloon in the story. And I could see where a lot of people would think, well, this story doesn't really make a whole lot of sense, does it? Or if it does make sense, who cares? Who cares about a bunch of people fixated on, of all things, a silly balloon, especially with everything that goes on in the world? But I think that's the point. Let's talk about this for 1 second. I'm not an expert on the author Barthelme, but I do know that he was a famous postmodernist. Now, for those of you who don't know, postmodernism, because it's called postmodernism, came after modernism, okay? Modernism was a movement that started in the late 19th, early 20th century, and it really changed the way people wrote fiction. Okay, before that, fiction was very standard. You had a 3-act structure. It's still popular today because it's very good. But the modernists came pretty much around the time or shortly after World War I. Okay, movies were around. Their radio started coming into play. In other words, writing needed to up its game to keep up with the competition. Okay, if you noticed, art started looking less and less like reality around the same time photographs came into play. There's a reason for that. You know, the artistic culture has to keep up with the passage of time. And so you ended up having works like James Joyce's Ulysses in literature. And that had to do mainly with the interior thoughts of its characters. Okay, it didn't have to do with a character having to get from A to B to C to D, as in standard stories. Okay, and modernism as a whole followed that tract. Plot wasn't always important. If you read some of Hemingway's works, there isn't a lot of plot to a lot of them. Sun Also Rises doesn't have a plot. And it just really broke the rules of how fiction was presented. Okay? Well, after World War II, there became something called postmodernism. And one of the things postmodernism does is try to reflect on itself. So the writing is not about anything in particular. It's actually about writing. Okay? And I think that's what Barthelme's talking about with the balloon. I think he's talking about postmodernism. I think the balloon is symbolic of a new kind of writing that people can't figure out and are obsessing over. You may disagree. I'm not the expert on Donald Barthelme. Please let me know if you do disagree because I'm curious about what you think. But I think we can all agree that the balloon, whatever it's about, isn't really about a balloon. All right, guys, until next time, have a great one and keep reading. Bye-bye.